Space, and we've got photos galore today, so busy show for today. Let's look at some shocking recent images, though. The first one on the left is from my friend Mark Reed, using his in Australia, using his setup with his telescope and lots of different filters in order to be able to take pictures next to the sun. I still haven't seen any of these other amateur astronomers looking next to the sun like I'm asking them to. Mark set up his telescope in response to my call for astronomers, and look what Mark sees. Mark sees the orb with the little, hole or circle in it, and he also sees the partial manifestation of a planet. Very interesting imagery. Thank you, Mark Reed from Australia. The second image is from Sharon Reck, and she basically had this on her Facebook page, and so I downloaded it. But we've been seeing these manifestations of sparkling orbs or sparkling little stars and little groupings and so forth. And I just want you to know that what that likely is the debris trail and maybe some objects, larger objects in the debris trail behind the system. That's what we're theorizing it might be. So when we see that, it's, I really like to see images of that. If you think it's weird, you've taped something that is sparkling little orbs up in the sky, send it to me. I'd like to take a look at it. Thank you for that, by the way. The next image, though, this is extremely important footage. What we have from April 25th, and by the way, I'm getting caught up on my emails right now. I've got my emails working much better, and this is why I'm able to find these images. But this was sent by a subscriber on 25th April, 6:16 p.m. local time in the Antarctic from the Australians. We basically have this discharge happening from somewhere in the sky, and that discharge is going over to the eastern quadrant of the view of this camera. The second one, taken about 15 minutes later, shows, well, again, this is a continuous image that she had. These are just screenshots that she took on the 25th. They're not up anymore, sorry. But basically we have a plasma discharge happening from some kind of a either planetary or artificial object that's positioned roughly straight over the South Pole on the 25th of April 2016. These are highly unusual happenings. I just wanted to point these out to you, everybody, that when we start to see the plasma discharge like this, and then we see the anomalies like the magnetosphere collapse a couple days ago that BP Earthwatch was on, and now that they're denying and saying is foolishness, even though we saw solar wind going the opposite direction than it should across the Earth, even though we know all kinds of weird things are happening and that it's probably a consistent thing for the magnetosphere to collapse in this condition. But here's another possibility. What we might have here is a plasma discharge may have affected the magnetosphere of the Earth as well. I just want to point out that if there's some kind of an electrical discharge either from us or from an object in space, that it would also have a very devastating effect on our magnetosphere. Just another theory to throw out there for the community to review. A couple quick hits before we get into photographs. The WSO leader list will be back up again with new volunteers and corrected emails. I took it down because there was a couple of emails that were incorrect, and it was the first run, so I expect to have to clean that up. I'll have that up by tomorrow, no later than, but I have 192 more emails to go through before I can update the list and get it up. So if everybody will just be patient with me, lots of the new local Facebook groups have gotten started. Lots of the leaders have already gotten started. Just continue doing what you guys are doing, and I'll have a new list up so that people can keep funneling to your email or to your local groups. Oh my God, did we just pass 27,000 subscribers? Oh, by the way, 27 is my number. And over 3 million views. I just wanted to thank you all. I'm humbled by it. I had no idea that this channel would do what it's doing. I really had no plans to do this. It's completely changed my life. It's completely turned it upside down. But I guess this is all I'm going to be doing now from here on out. So here we go. Let's go into some more imagery. So this is that supernova that I was talking, or the iron oxide dust, 60 Fe, it says here. A team of researchers led by Walter Robert Binns of Washington University in St. Louis, has detected traces of 60 Fe, which stands for iron. It's an isotope of iron, and cosmic rays flying through space, revealing ashes from a nearby supernova, continue to rain onto Earth this day. According to the study published in the Science, Iron-60 is a radioactive isotope in cosmic rays that's believed to be from blah, 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 blah. Well, this, along with other stories that we're seeing right now, are trying to explain the unusually high amount of iron oxide in our air and in our atmosphere. In fact, if you see some of the sunsets, you'll notice that they turn red because of the iron oxide dust, or at least that's what our theory is. So I just want to point out to you that this constant barrage of PR just started happening early this year when they announced Planet X, guys, and they announced it being on the outer fringes of the solar system. So what I want you to pay attention to is that the amount of information is going to increase and increase. They're talking about dwarf planets. They're talking about red dwarfs. They're talking about all those types of things now, and it's in the mainstream media. This is in the Huffington Post. It's in all the major science things. So let's go take a look at the next thing. The next thing I want to show you and kind of point you to, and again, all the links will be below. I always try to leave the links. If I forget, just put them in the comment section. I'll usually put them in within a 24-hour period. But anyway, here we are. We're looking at the pole axis drift is doing a larger spiral wobble. So this is all for you North Star guys out there that are talking about, you know, oh, if I look at the North Star, it's still in the same place. You can't see it with your eyeball, but they have instruments that actually can look at this tilt. And what this is showing is that we're kind of tilting out of band right now. And what's interesting about this is you would not see just two-dimensionally the Earth like a brick just pointing towards the other star or stars. What you'd see is the Earth's would start to wobble towards it in a fashion like you're seeing here. I'm going to try to get a guest on that's an expert on the magnetic north here next week, so stay tuned for that. But again, this is just another piece of evidence that something is changing in our solar system and that we have to pay attention to it. And we have to pay attention to things like prophecies and visions and things like that right now. We have to be tuned into each other right now. We have to stop hating each other right now, guys. Okay? No more hating. All right, let's get on to the next thing here. Did you guys catch this one? This is the U.S. Army Chief of Staff warning. Warning about grades and hybrid armies. Just listen to this speech that he's giving here in the Kreuzberg Arena on April 21st. And this is from Third Phase of the Moon, link below.
You're going to be leading the soldiers and sailors, the airmen and the Marines in that world. You'll be dealing with terrorists. You'll be dealing with hybrid armies. You'll be dealing with little green men. You're going to be dealing with tribes. You'll be dealing with national leaders and local leaders.
Okay, did you hear that? If you didn't catch it, go check it out. There's a great analysis on it here on this channel, so go take a look. The next video I want to show, just a teeny bit of it, is from Norma Clifton's site. She only has 1 subscriber. Go check her out, man. It's a great end-of-day sunset picture. And what she's catching, I think, is just an amazing picture of, I think, the winged planet. So take a look at Norma's video from April 20th. 2 things about this video. 1, it's snow in UK Manchester, not normal for this time of year. And 2nd, they take it in and they try to they actually try to burn the snow. I'll just fast forward ahead so you can see. And I've been having a lot of people doing this experiment. You know, guys, the snow doesn't melt. Some of it catches on fire. Pretty weird stuff, guys. Again, I mean, you know, the signs are stacking up all around us, and it's not really a good time to be sleepy. Now for our All Sky Cam segment. Does anybody see the 3 big orbs showing up on that? Does anybody see the big orb on the upper right quadrant and the one in the upper left quadrant? The moon seems to have a companion lately. So that's our Skycam image break for today. Now let's go through subscriber photos, and I'll let you guys go for the day. Check it out now. Here's in France. We've got from, it looks like from today, and we are catching this large circle type thing. Either something is in the middle of that circle, or it's reminiscent to me of the large ring that we saw in the South Pole early in the year before the Earth started tilting this way, or simulated tilting, or whatever's going on. But thank you for sending us this recent France image, which again is pretty shocking and interesting because it does match with earlier stuff that we did. This is just some artwork. I get artwork all the time. There's that image from Mark Reed that we talked about earlier, and I want to go in on this a little bit so you guys can see, and then see it a little closer, and then we'll go down here and we'll look at this a little bit closer too. That's the planetary, with its basically half illuminated by the sun. This is also from Mark's telescope, a little less clear image of a couple of objects or some kind of an object that refracts. This is a picture of a UFO that was taken. Again, we're seeing more and more of these UFOs. This is an interesting image in that, first of all, it's a daytime photo with a low exposure. We're seeing a lot behind it, which certainly could be the stars behind, but usually the coronal brightness of the sun prevents us from seeing what's behind the sun. What's really interesting is that I think this might be a lot of debris, possibly. But what's interesting is we've got up here in this quadrant our blue-red, I'll call it a cylinder that we've been catching refractions of from time to time. So I think that's interesting. Here's that orb photo, and I'll just kind of